manju shi ye, namo so shi ye, namo wo dhamma shi ye so ha, o namo manju shi ye, namo so shi ye, namo wo dhamma shi ye so ha. Ge ju tang zu ge chu na la, jiang chu ma nu na li ge zu ji, da ge chu ni ji be cuan nang ge, ru la ren jie sang ge zhu ma shu. Ge da zu ge chu na la, jiang chu ma nu na li ge zu ji, da ge chu ni ji be cuan nang ge, ru la ren jie sang ge zhu ma shu. Ge da zu ge chu na la, jiang chu ma nu na li ge zu ji, da ge chu ni ji be Ge sang ge zhu ma shu. Xie bei ge xiu xin me luo zhang, zhe ra ling xin yi de jian ban de, sang ge xin du mi de ma ye, zhou ge nan da xin la jue ba shu ye da, gu zhu ren na men da la gan de ya da ya li. Dungwa di na xin ge da tong, ge da ge cin de ma na ji ge lin ji ge da ma ma ji ba ji ja ma xi ba zhang ji bu zhe bu jin ji ma de de wan de ma de gu lo ji bu dungen ba xin yo wa de ka pi ji ja bu jin ji ma de de wa de ji ge wa pe sin ba de ni zhe Demba ji demba da ga ja wa da shi ni mala mala xin ji da bu so wa tu zhe ba ji ni chen ba bu yi su.
Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. Think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not even want a small suffering, due to mistakenly engaging with objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our mind, sincerely cultivate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and the causes of excellent happiness that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I will cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
Akan maka pasiennya kita dapat buat face plate buat masing sponsor, dapat stand base dan juga efek yang terbang.
Dungwa di na xin ji da tong ji dungwa da dungwa ji ji mu wa da kan ji zhe wa ji zhe wa da ga sha da shi ni ma na yi xin ji da wa tu sin ba tu ni ji bu.
Next, we cultivate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all mother sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. I will cause them to be free from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
Dungwa di na xin ji da tong ji huwa da ne sin dungwa di pu si la bu ni ya la bu da di ga xin da wa san ji bu ni ba ni se da ni ba se da da wa san ji la xin ji tu san ji bu ba ri ji tu ni da ta sha wa tu ji ba ji cha ji si bu.
Next, we cultivate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms? I should take the responsibility. Even though I should take the responsibility, I do not have the ability to place them in the state of perfect, complete enlightenment now. Who has such ability? Those perfect, complete Buddha have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment. Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates neither exist as inherently one, nor as inherently different. Thus is empty of inherent existence. Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice properly in order to benefit sentient beings. Thank you. So to continue, so this outline is, it is difficult to bear it. It is difficult to bear it. So under this outline, then there is there is a statement. It says, having examined the many negativities you have committed in the past and the many causes of hell that you are creating even now on a daily basis, it is inappropriate to be lazy. So after this line, then the verse, it says, why do you remain at ease like this, having committed the actions of hell, where your delicate flesh will burn when touched by streams? So this verse, it says, so why do you remain at ease like this? So it means that why do you remain indolent like this, having committed the actions of hell, where your delicate flesh will burn when touched by streams? So streams here refers to those molten boiling water in hell or molten metal in hell. So it says, having committed actions for being reborn in hell, where the delicate flesh of your body must experience the sufferings of extreme heat when touched by the streams of molten metal in hell. So why do you remain at ease? So why do you remain lazy? So why do you remain indolent through the force of laziness like this? So you should strive in virtue as though your head has caught on fire. So if our head is caught on fire, then we will put it off immediately, right? So similarly, we should strive in virtue, just like our head has caught on fire. So without wasting any moment. Next outline is, wishing for happiness and not striving for virtues are contradictory. Under this outline is verse 13. It says, much harm befalls those who want result without striving, as well as those sensitive ones. While collapsed by death, I shall will like the gods. Oh no, I shall be destroyed by suffering.
다수 수분데야 대화 대바지 대화기 주대 자원에 맞도 버와 이 주 대화라 전반에 받던 제부 대화 대바이나 때니 난가라 버와 예 이거와리 근데 진짜 다 등의 중세 정말 하자 지시 총이나 등화 좀 해봐 마무리 했어 좋아 등의 중세라 간다 지시 총 가장 총이나 등화 좀 해봐 마 다 된디 치마수 이도 빼 당원이 취하도 너네 하고 반나시 하고는 취하도 너네 땡기바 이나야 단두고 한 나시 비교진 거 대야다 선거 대야기 된디긴 되봐 좋아 된디기 빼 소소 리와지 된디 리와지 대바이나 다 문제 봐 마무지 이거래 맞다 된 대바데 하자 영화 갈래 가보리 했어 좋아 또 문제 봐 또게 되게 동안 소소 된디 두개 쇼야 좋아 등이 계셔가 다 들이 요구리스 다 들이 요구 소자 내가다 다 지부 디와진 되고야나 다 주기와 좀 봐라 다 고아체 그래서 주기와 다 같이 그래야지 다 디리와
Much harm of suffering befalls those who want pleasurable results without making any effort in the virtue that is the cause of happiness. So many want happiness, but they do not strive for strive for their cause, which is strive for their cause, which is virtue. So, and as well as those sensitive ones with little forbearance towards even slight suffering. So when our patience with those slight sufferings is very small. So while clutched by death, those who hope to live for a long time, like the gods, do not fulfill their wish. So one act as if one has known our own time of death, and then while knowing our own time of death, then we just hope that we are going to live for a long time like the gods. And for a person like this, they do not fulfill their own wishes. So, and since their wish is not fulfilled, they shall will, oh no, I shall be destroyed by suffering. So one act as if one knows about one's own time of death, and then they do not strive in virtue. They do not strive in virtue. So they will not fulfill their wishes, and those undesirable will before them, and then they will cry or shout in suffering, oh no, I shall be destroyed. Next outline is urging the striving in methods of liberation from suffering. Under this outline is verse 14. It says, relying upon the human boat, free yourself from the great river of suffering. As it is hard to find this boat later, do not sleep at this time, fool.
자소 친구 들에 받도시 또 두고네 또 투야는 가서 당주고 연청부 짜친부지 토디에르게 토와서자 거기 동안 또 두고레스 그 당주지 주두반 하장 신도 공부 와서 다와진 좀 빠져 세들이 참고는 데리레다 상황 앞에 하장 주두야 돼 공부 쉬고 레스고와 우리까지 가보러 와 공부를 이나 단단하게 공부 때 해리나 이게 주들 이 리덴게 토디에르스 간다 와 이게 토디에르 다 시스 하장 되지 않는 거와 공부 쉬고랬어 공부 쉬고 송자 아마도 저토비 저 니비 뒤서 저 당주 이게 토비 뒤서 아니 뭐로 봐 논리지 대화라 맞춰봐 그 제부 중요다 우리가 첨부를 남지 좀 봐라 너 림바 기도 장 냥스랑비 보내 그 거의 동화 자도 첨부를 봐 도와 제보래 그 당주 내가 뒤서 이제 안다와 당주 토비 뒤서 하는 내가 제보래 정말 제보래만 신내가 와래 해서 어디 당주 동시 만들어 다 되게 된다 신도와
So if you make effort upon this support that has, so if you make effort upon this support that has obtained the leisures and endowments, so these leisures and endowments refers to the special human body or special human rebirth. In other words, a precious human rebirth with 8 leisures and 10 endowments. So upon these special bodies, which is precious and difficult to find, and then and this basis has the potential to achieve the state of enlightenment in one lifetime, and then you will be able to free yourselves from all suffering. So upon this special basis, then you will be able to free yourself from all suffering. Therefore, relying upon the boat of the human body, free yourself from the great river of suffering of cycle existence. The leisures and endowments are of great purpose. So this precious human rebirth, which is rare and difficult to find, and is also very rare to accomplish each and every cause for these 8 leisures and endowments. So, though it is difficult to accomplish their causes, yet we have obtained this precious human body. Therefore, while you're still having this precious human body, do not be lazy and do not sleep. Do not be late. Sorry, do not be lazy, and then do not be lazy, and then strive by practicing the stages of the path of the 3 scopes of being, because this precious human body is difficult to find it again later. Sorry, it's difficult to find again in the future. Next outline is abandoning the laziness of adherence to negative activities. Under this outline is verse 15. It says, having rejected the supreme joy of the sacred Dharma, that is an infinite cause of joy. Why do you enjoy being distracted by the causes for suffering, frivolous amusements, and the like? Yeah, so having rejected the supreme joy of practicing the sacred Dharma, the method that is an infinite cause of joy all the time in these and future lives. So why do you enjoy many improper activities, being distracted by negativities, the causes for resultant suffering, and much busyness, frivolous amusement, and the like? and you should not take joy in them, for they are the causes of suffering. So, so the method that is an infinite cause of joy all the time in these and future lives. So the method refers to the three higher paths. Three higher paths. The three higher trainings. Sorry, the three higher trainings, which is the path. So this is the method. This is the method, or this is the infinite cause of joy all the time in these and future lives. So why do you? So you having rejected this infinite cause of joy, and then you enjoy many improper activities. So many improper activities, being distracted by negativities. Like for example, those non-virtuous activities, those negativities. Then due to distraction, then we engage in many activities that serve as conditions to increase our three poisons: attachment, hatred, and ignorance. And then we engage in many speech in relation to attachment, hatred, and ignorance as well. And then much busyness and frivolous amusement and the like. So then we gossiped in relation. We gossiped out of this attachment, hatred, and ignorance. And then just like the speech of the blind. So speech of the blind refers to those because they do not see they do not see they cannot see, but they speak about what has happened. So then, yeah, so they cannot see, they do not see, but they speak a lot about what has happened, speak about the occurrence and etc. So this speech or these activities that serve as condition to increase attachment, hatred, and ignorance, then these are the causes of suffering, and we enjoy doing that as well. So our mind, out of attachment, under the control of attachment, then we enjoy doing it. So it is inappropriate to find joy in this, because these are the causes of suffering. And next outline is instruction on striving for the antidote to despondency. Instruction on striving for the antidote to despondency. And under this outline is verse 16. It says, "Without despondency, I should gather the masses of army and diligently take control of myself through equalizing self with others and exchanging self for others." lamlop.
Lapa sola ya lopa la, de samba jili ba meba kuchali tsulu shuchi ba ting. Ta tiso kucha tsulu zine ta kudi chishu tsa mbishi rwa, kuchi tsulu. Ta joyi toni tso nichi, ta diwa chidi tsulu wari. Joyi nichi, ta sena ba hiji tso nichi, tso samba ta joyi tsulu, zi tsulu. Ta nishi la, ta nishi tsulu jela, ta jemba de hiji yabu nyali. Ta samba jemba yabu jemba, hiji yabu jemba. Ta njula se wara. Tā njūla nīse lē tō rō, tā njūla līdā sē tā pē āngi rāngā tō tō bāchī. Nīse kāra gēi shō la kāra kū bā pē tō bāchī, wā, nīse kāmbi njūda kū tō bā tēne wā rō, njūla. Tā njūla nīse lē rō rō kū rī gōne, tā dāni tā wā shēne, tā wā nī kāna sānte dī kā sū nō ndō dāda nāmdō yīndā nāmba tā shēndā dāda jījā wā tā ngā sō liu jēbā kā sō, sānte kī liu kā sō shē wī sī wā rō wā, wā tō pē sānte kī liu kā sō, tā tēne sānte kī shē wā rē. 이런 것이 다 간다 다 동의 문제 받아 대화되고 명바 인지를 성공하자 다 간다 랑 야와 또 희제 받지 마 든지 돈 냥내 정부 해서 된다 되래도 와
랑 야와 돈이 희제 받지 마
장비 야와 돈이 희제 받지 마 들어와 다다 이제 제바 들어와
디고 라인데 딜레우 기바 대시
딜레우 지원
something 디고
something 딜레우 지원 나치도 제가 레스트 된다 들어와
오네 시바 있는 딜레우 기바
들어와
So basically, this verse talks about one should stop or one should overcome the laziness of despondent and strive in virtuous actions or strive in a sacred dharma. So it says, just as a king gains victory over his enemy by means of the four properties, initially in order to uplift his mind and train in the path, a bodhisattva generates the armor-like joyous effort without despondent thoughts. The second one is, as preparation, he generates the joyous effort of application, gathering the masses of the army of the two accumulations. Third, as actual practice, he diligently practices with mindfulness and introspection. And fourth, he takes control of himself by means of physical and mental serviceability. And having done that, he destroys despondency through equalizing self with others and exchanging self for others, which will be explained below. So first, we talk about a king gains victory over his enemies by means of the four properties. So these four properties refers to the four masses, four properties for four masses of horse, elephant, chariot, and legs. So legs, as in without these mounts, and then they march to the opponent, march to the country, a rival country, and then they fight with their enemy. They fight with their enemies. So this is in the past, and a king, when they fight or fight with others, and they have these four properties or these four masses. So, and similar to a king, then bodhisattvas, they, with enthusiasm, they train in the trainings of the path. They engage, they learn the training of the path, and then without the laziness of despondency. So then in the commentary, it mentions that there are four properties as well. So first one is to uplift their mind, and then a bodhisattva where applied or generates the armor-like joyous effort. And then the second one is joyous effort of application. And the third one is as actual practice or during the actual practice, they diligently practice with mindfulness and introspection. And the fourth one is at the end, then they gain the physical and mental serviceability, so which can be employed at will. So then, yeah, and then having done that, they destroy the despondency through equalizing self with others and exchanging self for others. So yeah, so equalizing self with others and exchanging self for others. So it basically, in brief, it means that neglecting oneself and cherishing others. So there is a brief introduction or brief explanations here in this particular context. Equalizing self with others and exchanging self for others. So which will be explained below. So explained below, it refers to the 8th chapter, the chapter on concentration.
되게 제대로 와서 들어. 나중에 뭐 제가 명성이 그 농내 소스 들어와. 농내 소바디. 나한테 간다. 이 삼지기 농 맞습니다. 산지니는 원본은 뭐 전주 점봐서 쓰는 게 좋. 타에 봐서 봐 힘들. 작가요. 그때 이제 바꿔봐 담에 그만 나서는 뭐 비바 샤와니 나세. 다들 막 도바지 이거 다 이 짜서 이거 다들 전주 살아시 질뻔의 메자데 그다 대신셔버는 덴바 송비 덴 송우세 어디 지리마다 디비셔이고 어떤 지리 바꿔봐 이거 이게 내리 지리 있는 데서
So next outline is the modes of practicing the antidote as taught in the scriptures. And under this outline, so there is a so there is an opinion. So under this outline, so he says, if Buddhahood is to be accomplished through practicing the very difficult deeds of accumulating limitless collections of merits, undertaken with joyous effort by those sharp faculty for countless eons. So then after this is verse 17. He says, I should not be despondent by thinking, how can I ever attain enlightenment? Thus the Tathagatas who speak what is true have uttered this truth.
어디 되는데도 다 간다 도시야 간다 도시들이 상지 들어와 다 도시야 상지에 간다 아마도 도시야 상지에 그마다 이제 시험을 도시야 상지에서 좀 찾아 세 받아 나 민진 타이에도 리지 좋고 왜나서 와 도시야 상지에서 좀 찾아 세 받아 민진 타이에도 더 받지 이나 되는 원본 연구 진주의 대박이 초자 친구 사바데 대파샤가와 와 제발 까봐 처음에 도마라 이 로고와 지 로고와 지시도와 로고가 주면 이나서와 까봐 처음에 도마라 간다 너 니버시기 되는 두고 레스 니 두고 바이나 다다와 다스도 세슈 바지고라 돼 와 다다와는 인디 나리에서 두바다 진 나리에서 보아 하자 깔래 가고 싶은다 와 인디 나리에서 두바 진 나리에서 보아라 하자 체가와 딱 내가 셔발라 하자 체가와 나 장주 두바라 다시 공도 든지신 배선 제고 쓰는 또 상제 든지 장주 두바라 그래서도 든지 진 나리에 보아 인디 나리에 지와라 든지 내가 제가 하자 깔래 가고도 sana 든지 지루비 상바 자요 말이스 로와 이 지루비 상바 자요 말이스 와 나 상지 간다 이 가르쳐 자요나 이 덴바 대가로 이데 여러 마더와 상지기 신주로게 간다 주다 메데비 치송 말이스 고와 상지 메데비 치송 말에 손바데 나시 덴바 대가로 예스와 덴바 대가로 그 덴바 수 대가 수의 덴바 대가 송자 그 기타 송거스나 단들의 송자에서 간다 마상 기빈도스 이거 들래 알았어 다이야 근데 지루비 상바 제가 말했다 상지 나서 상지 주바도 토투고래서 간다 송자에서 나 가와서스나 예 랑사 기빈도래 다들 마무시 보는데 다 간다 싱게다 다다 지를 싱게라서 마무시 송도와 자당도 저라 나서가 제탄지 흘러나면 장주는 상자원이나 시점만 상지 공부 토야 레스토랑 그래서 신지는 먼저 상지 상지는 있고 그래서 간다 신지 강가상 제르면만 상 제야 먼저 신지 제요 말씀 좋아 신지 강가 간다 상 제르 신지 강가게 나봐 누가 냐네 제바나 상 제롱 그래서 상 제그래 모두 상 마지게 드리게 자원이 요 말씀 가서 난 줄라마갈 상지 리요레 신지 탄지라 상지 리요레서 다시인데 주제 연다 무슨 집어 잡고 된다들 좋아 내가 집어 잡고 게 된리게 네 담보데 차당라서 봤다 뭐 마무리 연다 샤로 팔로와 이거 대 탄지 때 간다 상지 공부 토도 그래 다 수선도 보이는다 때 단다 리디 쳇바치 뭐 리디 자치 뭐 리디 토그래 다 리디 토디 내가 좀 받지나 내가 간다 지르비 삼바치 고야마도 내가 간다 지금부터 땡이 토투다 투상한테 리기페 다 세주파니 내가 쳐라 고고 해서 간다 쳐라 고나 다 지르비 삼바도 가야 와 지르비 레로지와 다 디바카리 그 디바 다 세주파니 디스모 땅고 해서 와
So before the verse, and it says, if Buddhahood is to be accomplished through practicing the very difficult deeds of accumulating limitless collections of merits for countless eons, so it means that a Buddhahood, which is the exhaustions of all faults and the completions of all good qualities, that is to be accomplished through practicing the very difficult deeds for countless eons. Then so here it talks about that we need to overcome, or we need to stop or counteract that laziness of despondency. So therefore, the thought of despondent thought could be like this. So in order to achieve the state of enlightenment, which is an exhaustion of all faults and the completions of all good qualities, how could I achieve that? So how can I attain that? So I do not even because it is very so it is very difficult even to abandon one fault, and it is very difficult to generate even one qualities. So how can I achieve such enlightenment, or such state of the state of omniscience, or the state of enlightenment? So, and then here, to counteract this thought of this despondent thought, then we should generate the thought that I can achieve the state of enlightenment. I am able to attain the state of enlightenment. So in order to counteract this despondent thought. So because Buddha has said that, so whatever Buddha said is truth. So we in the sutra requested by Subahu, so then so here it says, does the Tathagatas who speak only what is true have uttered these following truth because they are trustworthy due to not having the cause for teaching the erroneous? So it means that Tathagatas spoke or taught what is true. So, and in the sutra requested by Subahu, it says, furthermore, the Bodhisattvas perfectly trained in this way, thinking even those who are lions, tigers, and etc. So many animals, or many types of animals are mentioned here. So even worms, bees, flies, and mosquitoes will become enlightened in unsurpassed enlightenment. So Buddha taught in this sutra, all sentient beings are suitable to become enlightened. So none of the sentient beings are not suitable to become enlightened. So in other way of saying this, all sentient beings are suitable to become enlightened. All sentient beings will become enlightened. And even in the sublime continuum, in sublime continuum, it says that all sentient beings have the Buddha lineage. So this also indicates that all sentient beings will become enlightened. And then it says, while a human being, why do I degenerate the joyous effort that attains complete enlightenment even at the cost of my life? So while being a human, while having this precious human body that is difficult to obtain, then definitely I will achieve the state of enlightenment. So through thinking in this way, increase your confidence, or increase your confidence, and in order to counteract the laziness of despondency. Next outline is thinking one will be able to attain enlightenment if one generates the power of exertion. And under this outline, there are two verses, verse 18 and 19. They say, if they develop the strength of exertion, even those who are flies, mosquitoes, bees, and likewise worms will win the unsurpassable enlightenment, which is hard to attain. Since I have been born human by race, and recognize what is beneficial and what is harmful. If I do not forsake the deeds of enlightenment, why will I not attain enlightenment? So these two verses are similar to the previous one. So that even those who are flies, mosquitoes, bees, and likewise worms develop the strength of exertion and accumulate the collections, they will win the unsurpassable enlightenment that is hard to attain. So even just as previous verse, so even those flies and mosquitoes, if they develop the power of exertion, then they will attain the state of enlightenment as well. And if this has been taught, then if someone such as I, who has been born human, is highly distinguished by race, and has a special thought recognizing what is to be adopted that is beneficial and what is to be discarded that is harmful in order to accomplish enlightenment, adopts the deeds of enlightenment and does not forsake them, why will I not attain enlightenment? So I should think definitely I can attain it. So one should encourage oneself thinking that I will achieve the state of enlightenment. I can achieve the state of enlightenment because not only are we born as not only have we gained the human rebirth, and we have also gained the precious human rebirth with 8 leisures and 10 endowments. So, and upon this basis, then we also recognize or we understand the objects of abandonment and objects of adoptions, especially in relation to the Bodhisattva deeds. So if we do not give up, or if we do not discard our striving, or if we do not give up or discard our effort or endeavor, then definitely we will achieve the state of enlightenment. So it is impossible not to achieve the state of enlightenment if I do not give up or if I do not discard my endeavor. So definitely one will achieve the state of enlightenment. Next outline is, it is inappropriate to be afraid of the hardships of giving away legs, hands, and so forth. Under this outline, there are 2 verses, verse 20 and verse 21. They say, opinion, having to give away my legs, arms, and so forth frightens me. Response, Without analyzing what is heavy and what is light, I am reduced to fear through confusion. Over countless billions of eons, I will be cut, stabbed, burned, and chopped up many times, but I will not attain enlightenment.
chakai hajandi da kanda ninji samba madana tonga kale khabu shibore da muni no ninji shina sudu jita cheba inasi borwa ndi kana la sobarwa da kanda hajan da ngota la pada kana la soba ninji shimba tonga bain hajan su shakawa yimbe de da da ton ni mudu sa ninji injina cheba inasi borwa jina de da jimba ton gojan dunga ji jiwa da yang cheba leba mataba chepa leba mata baran dole la momba esro dole la pe sosugi kanda jimba toy kansa kabat lebu de sosugi jimba kana la saba jimba toy gi sosugi nyangli gi ninji gi to le du modu da wa ndigi jimba pona nekap ji dunga nuwa la thadu gi dewa da kandi yoya me so yabu ji ma sheba momba ina
nekap gi
pe 내가게 간다 대화다 타두기 대화 내가게 동하다 타두기 대화 첨부 좋아 내가게 동화 지나 때는 타두기 대화 첨부지 그래야 들리긴 원래나 뭐마 좋아 니 하마거나 왠지 그랬어 지나 찍으랬어 좋아 지나 찍으랬 이나 전달 난 지금 말해 땡지 먹여야 돼난 원래나 여보 선호 따니 또 토마미 반에 단다 봐 좋아 그 토마미는 고고한 거 단다 봐 나와라 까봐 처음 마음보지 좋아 내지 내니 많이 봐连着盲目你建立那上说的与没得写把的也让是吧都把的但参给点点他对我老师吧你盲目弄啥的你盲目接下来的你趋势你个弄把的你趋势就嘛都那边长期推下去你个就看嘛的是那边长期推把的推下去你个速度的你原来的你个就看嘛的是吧你个就看多要嘛的是那边长期推就来看多嘛的是단다 대pe 소소 그네 영화다 깜발라서 봐 든지기 이신바 동야기 니세 소소게 니지 삼바 바바 야고지 레바이나 영화 깜발이나 수도 충주랬어 되게 타두게 대화 땡 첨보지 땡도 대화 토야기 니바게 두고를 스타트 스치다 오늘 말레고 와 모두 되리래서 나 간다 애들이 간다 맞아 내랑 또 마음 뭐지 라페 유튜브서 보다 메시에 보다 영화 또 발라서 봐 든지 마음 제사를 등에 용사를 나도 저 등에 용받아 맞아 주제지 마도 라나미 장지 투야 이렇게 로토요 말했어 근데
인지 당한지 뉴스들에 와이네 대강 발라바데 또 와이나
또当然 맞아 강이 요 말했어 지나요 말했어 인지기 상마 다 봐지 니가 레바이나 니가 말레바 땅 주고 말했어 그러다 인지기 상바데 말레바 니게 다 와서 말레바다 땅나 때문에 나서 땅 거다
That's right. An opinion. So although I have the ability to accomplish it by striving, having to give away my legs, arms, head, and so forth frightens me, since I cannot perform those deeds that are difficult to perform. Response: although it is necessary to perform those acts of generosity, without analyzing well the distinctions between heavy and light suffering, I'm reduced to fear through confusion regarding what is to be adopted and what is to be discarded. However, I need not fear, because when circling in cycle existence since beginningless times over countless billions of eons in hell, my body will experience being cut, stabbed, burned with fire, and chopped up with weapons, not just once, but many times. But even though I experienced just that, besides my body's being wasted pointlessly, I will not attain unsurpassed enlightenment. So it means that if we do not discard our endeavor, do not discard the effort, then definitely we will achieve the state of enlightenment. And if we, because I think so and then and in the opinion it says that giving away my legs, arms, head, and so forth frightens me. So since I cannot perform those deeds, they are difficult to perform. So these difficult deeds, such as giving away head, legs, arms and so forth. So, and frightens me is because we do not differentiate. Because we do not understand our practice, and then our measurements of having generated compassion or not, then we do not know about it. So we do not know our measurements of having generated compassion. Yeah. So basically, it refers to the measurements of our generations of compassion. So we do not know about it, or in other way of saying this is our generations of compassion is not powerful enough. Our practice is not powerful enough. And then and without distinguishing the temporary suffering and ultimate happiness, then we are confused with the objects of adoption and objects of abandonment. So because of this, because of not having powerful compassion, because of not understand our measurements of our practice, or the level of our practice, or the measurement of our practice, because of these confusions with regard to objects of adoptions and abandonment. So therefore, fear arises in oneself. And then, if we were to compare the beginningless rebirth that we have taken, and then since beginningless time, then many countless eons, or many countless eons, and for many countless lives, then we have taken rebirth in hell, and in which then we experience all sorts of sufferings of being cut, split open, and etc. And however, these sufferings do not become the cause for oneself, do not become the cause of achieving the unsurpassed enlightenment. So even though the sufferings giving away heads, arms, legs, and etc., and as compared to the experience in hell, such as one limbs being cut, burned by fire, and etc. So these sufferings in hell do not become the cause of unsurpassed enlightenment. So therefore, so if our level of our practice, or in other way of saying this is, if we do not have the ability to do so, or if our compassion is not powerful enough, so if we are not if we haven't reached the level yet, then we are not allowed to give away our arms, legs, heads, and so forth. So if we were to give these limbs away, then we will find it very painful as well. So, however, when our compassion is powerful enough, and when we have reached that level, then when we give away these limbs, then we will not find it painful. So, and giving away limbs and etc. will become the cause of achieving the everlasting happiness. Next outline is, one doesn't need to experience even a fraction of the sufferings of the bad migrations. Under this outline is verse 22. It says, yet this suffering for my accomplishing enlightenment will have a limit. It is like the sufferings of having an incision made in order to eliminate the harm of pain destroying it inside.
member come jabada tatu balasa ba tindijina this is a gawa chibwa wa de nang shi le swa de nang shi de ka ji shi khada ambi chu do bala ka ji shi dunga de chu da so so sel la wa da gawa go ga de yes da wa ngama ti ta cha sang ji yo maris ngami ne do dunga la so ba ta ne cha shi dum sang ji yo maris lo wa da de shi da do.
So this outline, it says that one doesn't need to experience even the fractions of the sufferings in the bad migrations, right? Or the bad migrations. So, so we have experienced all sorts of sufferings in bad migrations, such as the sufferings of hell and sufferings of being an animal and etc. So, and we have experienced those sufferings. So if we compare these difficult deeds if we compare these difficult deeds with those sufferings that we had experienced in those bad migrations, then the sufferings of these difficult deeds is much smaller and is easier to bear, and the durations of this suffering of engaging in difficult deeds is much shorter as well. So, and therefore, the sufferings of difficult deeds is bearable, and then on top of that, and we should pleased in doing that as well. So, for example, so stomach ache. So we have something wrong with our stomach, and then in order to eliminate this stomach ache, then if we need to endure the sufferings of injection or blood pooling and etc., then we will find these treatments bearable, and then on top of that, then we will please in receiving these kinds of treatments as well, right? So similarly, these difficult deeds, if we were to compare these the sufferings of difficult deeds to the sufferings that we had experienced in hell, then is much smaller, is bearable, and then the duration is much shorter as well. So we should develop joy. Next outline is the analogy illustrating that it is appropriate to bear small suffering in order to destroy great sickness. Under this outline is verse 23. And this is quite similar to the previous verse as well. It says, even all doctors eliminate illness with unpleasant medical treatment. So in order to overcome manifold sufferings, I should put up with little discomfort. This way, while even all doctors eliminate illness with slightly unpleasant medical treatments, since the austerities for attaining enlightenment are tiny sufferings, in order to overcome the manifold sufferings of secular existence, I should put up with the little discomfort of the austerities, for this pacifies the boundless sufferings of myself and others. So, just like doctors treating a patient. So if something wrong with, if we have these problems with our body or with our health, then we are able to bear the small sufferings of the medical treatments. So similar to this, then if we are able to bear the sufferings of difficult deeds for attaining the state of enlightenment, then we will be able to overcome manifold great sufferings of cycle existence. We will be able to destroy manifold sufferings in cycle existence. Next outline is, the teacher taught the method for healing the great sickness without needing to experience the sufferings of the remedy at all. Under this outline is verse 24. It says, but the Supreme Physician does not employ such ordinary remedies. With a very gentle procedure, he remedies the boundless great ailments.
maybe choking manze dirwa maji de da kanda ngado chanju jubi kaji ne soji peba lo bora soji peba tape ndigi pe ndinda wa tibombo member choking teni zizi maris de kandi zigresna lam de inje be dewa tobe ta cho hindo nyamba ta toba sanji jone de zobe chanju toba haja lede dudan de shawa shedan de jambu da shawa shedan de rwa ta lede 모두 좋았으나 지금 레데 루당다 샤와 셰당 공부지 시고와
레데 루당
레데 간다 루당 루탑 루탑 자주 주야가 루탑 루탑 탑대 간리지 된 거스나 예 탑대 반다 하장 정보 나시 두바 맞아 나시 두비 탑봉하다 내가 세로진 타이밍 말로 와서 맞아 산지 그것도 들어오르와 나시 두바다 내가 세로진 타이밍 pombi 땡코한 차기비 녀모비 내침버서 아미스 파소한 제네 끝까지는 지바 칼라리세 당아서 산지기 때막 람디 이제 대화 터바라 타 하장 앞에 장보다 레디 두당 때 다시 야보 맞아 나시 두비 탈라 내고 말했어 나시 두비 탈라 내서 디다고와 나도 다저 템바 까와치 베카라 니마리라페 인주강리리 체리페 세라바 마시바 딘디 까와치 와와 디 까와치 상제 도요 말와 상제 도요 말 어다 근데 나시 두비 탈라 통마 이 뻥마시 누구 말해서 와 안데 바스는 다 뻥마 다들 다저 템바랑 저보고 가서 진짜는 두거리 와 되게 타니 뻥이 토네 땡코아 창비 영웅이 내치고 뻗어 내가 봐 수원 집이 끝까지 리까지 지바 칼리세 와 지바 칼리세 때 간다 무슨 치도 레스 다 간다 들어와 어디리시 다 간다 소소리 때 하정이 되니 강의 전부들이 말해서 간다 와 강의 전부들이 말해서 자 전부 제부 대화 장주의 도발을 듣니 강의 전부 말해서 나도
So, but the Lord of Subduers, the Supreme Physician, does not employ austerities, such ordinary remedies to cure a disease. Instead, with a comfortable path, the method for attaining the result of happiness, a very gentle procedure by way of abandoning the two extremes of toilcome exhaustion and sensual decadence, he remedies the boundless great ailments of the afflictions which compel wandering in cycle existence. Thus, how can it be appropriate to fear austerities? So, unlike ordinary doctors, the Lord of Subduers, the Supreme Physician or the Supreme Doctors, does not employ austerities. So, such ordinary remedies to cure a disease. So, and then with a comfortable path, the method for attaining the state of enlightenment, a very gentle procedures. So, very gentle procedures or the comfortable path or the method to attain the state of enlightenment is is very gentle. So gentle in the sense that it is free from two extremes. So the two extremes is one is the extremes of weariness and fatigue. So the extremes of weariness and fatigue in the commentary, it says the extremes of toil come exhaustions. So another translation for this is the extremes of weariness and fatigue. So the extremes of weariness and fatigue, such as when the Siddhartha Gautama. So in order to attain the state of enlightenment, then he engaged in austerities, or such as eating one grain of rice a day. So this is an example of extremes of weariness and fatigue. So such comfortable path and to achieve the state of enlightenment is free from such the extremes of weariness and fatigue, and such comfortable path is free from the extremes of degenerations of merit and fortune through desire as well. So the extremes of degenerations of merit through desire. So then it refers to the time when the Siddhartha Gautama was still a prince in the country, or in the kingdom of his father. So these extremes of degenerations of merit through desire. So then one of the example is the time when Siddhartha Gautama was still a prince in the kingdom, or in the country, in his father's kingdom. So then he remedies. So then through this comfortable path, or this easy path, then a very gentle procedure, then this Lord of Subduers, the best or supreme physician remedies the boundless great sickness of the afflictions which compel wandering in secular existence.
다 니바디 서지 니바다 다 리동아 까이 로예 비체 동아 까바 제마라서 짐발람 인제는 토마 조안지 얘라 공이 신에는 링지랑이 샤야 공세 에 실로 진도와 어디마 디시에 보리지 로 쇼쇼 로스
So next outline is stop giving away the body when you have the thought. It is difficult to give it away. So under this outline is verse 25. It says, at the beginning, the guide applies to giving of such things as vegetables. Later, having become accustomed to that, one may progressively give away even one's flesh. So this outline, it says, stop giving away the body when you have the thought. It is difficult to give it away. So it means that one has not completed the familiarizations of generosity. So another way of saying this is one has not familiarized oneself with generosity enough. So other way of saying this. So if one has not complete the if one has not complete the acquaintance or familiarizations with generosity, then giving away one's body is prohibited. So, and in order to give away one's body, hands, legs, and etc. without pain, then it must be given on the basis of familiarization with compassion and the familiarization with the meaning of emptiness. So upon these two familiarizations of compassion and with the meaning of emptiness. So upon these two bases, then one give it away. If one gives away one's body, then it will not incur much pain, or it will not incur pain. So before one's give away one's body, or before one's has familiarized with giving away one's body, then one can start with small things, such as giving away one's possessions, wealth, resources, and etc., or such as vegetables. So you familiarize yourself with generosity through giving small things like this, and then later, when you have developed a strong familiarization or acquaintance with generosity, then you will be able to give away one's flesh or one's body. So, giving away one's body is not to be done immediately, or not to be done in when you are not yet familiarized with general practice of generosity.
That's what you about it. That's my Tonga and Gawa Combici, that little was so the Gawa never, the Gawa, that the Gawa never did. Can't say Rangu Lilan, Cheso Tadi Lucheva, the Sichala, so Tonga, Della Gawa Chishi, that the show of Chilis.
So this outline, it says, don't give it away if you have the thought it's difficult to give it away, right? So next outline is, there is no hardship because the Buddha thought to give away the body when you have become accustomed to the thought. It is similar to giving away vegetables. So previous, it talks about don't give away. So this verse or this outline, then it talks about give away when you have become accustomed. So, and under this outline is verse 26. It says, at such a time when I have generated a mind that regards my body as being like vegetables, then what hardship will there be when it comes to giving away my flesh?
Ninji Samba Tabaji, Tubaina, the Rango Lila Soba, the Pajimba Ton, Sema Ton, no Jerry Mato, the Jala Soba, the Tona, Elaka, Yomaris, Kachi, Yomaris, the Comba, Yahu, Letubaina, the Ninji Samba Tabata, and the Tomban Jitana, the Digipa, some of the Shuchamo, Letsaina, the Kanda, Chama, the no Lonchiton, and Shijimato, the Kachila, Ninji, Maris, Kachi, Yomaris,
Yeah. So basically, this verse talks about if we have become familiarized with compassion. So in other way of saying this, if we have cultivated a powerful compassion, so or cultivated a pure compassion, and then if we have familiarized with the meaning of emptiness, then when giving away our body is like giving away vegetables or giving away resources or possessions or wealth, then that is the time that you give your body away. Yeah, so there is no fear at that time. Then there is no fear in giving away one's body or one's flesh. And next outline is, even though there is no bodily and mental happiness for persons who are not skilled in the stages of accomplishing the path, there is no sufferings of hardship for the skill. And under this, I repeat, even though there is no bodily and mental happiness for persons who are not skilled in the stages of accomplishing the path, there is no suffering of hardship for the skill, or for the skilled ones. And under this outline is verse 27. Okay. Yeah, verse 27. It says, due to having abandoned negativities, there is no suffering, and due to skill, there is no unhappiness. Thus, mind and body are harmed by wrong conceptions and negativities. So this verse talks about when one is not skilled in accomplishing the path. So another way of saying this is when one has not become accustomed to the practice of generosity. So if one were to give one's body away, then one will find it unhappy, or one will find it unpleasant to do so. And then at the beginning, one is unable to give one's body away as well. So if one were to give one's heads, legs, arms away, so one will find it unpleasant as well. So unless due to the familiarization, so one has familiarized with compassion, one has the pure compassions, and then one has become accustomed to the meditations of emptiness, then if one were to give one's body away, then one will not find it, one will not experience suffering, and then one will not find it unpleasant as well. And because in the verse it says, by wrong conceptions and negativities, right? So mind and body are harmed by wrong conceptions. So wrong conceptions here refers to the two types of self-grasping. So the self-graspings of the person and the self-graspings of the person and self-graspings of phenomena. In this particular and in this context, so self-graspings of person refers to the self-grasping, because apprehending I, and the self-graspings of phenomena refer to self-grasping, apprehending mind. So mind such as my legs, my arms, my head, and so forth. So having overcome these wrong conceptions, then So one will not find it difficult, or one will not find it suffering to give one's body away or one's limbs away. So that is, so when you have become accustomed to giving when you have become accustomed to generosity, and then you have the pure, when you have pure compassions, and then you have the familiarizations with emptiness as well. So that is the right time. So that is the time, or that is the right time to give one's body away. And one is able to give one's body away, and then one will not find it unpleasant, or one will not find it painful to give away one body or one's flesh. So, and when is not the time to give one's body away, such as not having familiarized with compassion, emptiness, and generosity, then giving away one's body is prohibited by Buddha.
이나 심바치모 고아니바라 조이 좀해봐 세도와 아주 좀 세남 끼는 리데라 개바 있는 세계나 신경 고아니잖아 니제진다 찌대 조어서 그래도 조가 진도만 주시죠.
Next outline is therefore there is no cause for great sattvas to be disheartened in abiding in samsara. So therefore, there is no cause for great sattvas to be disheartened in abiding in samsara. Under this outline is verse 28. It says, if their bodies are happy due to their merits, and their minds are happy due to their skill, then even if they remain in cyclic existence for the sake of others, why would the compassionate ones be disheartened?
되게 된다도 왜 가나 먼저 장지스 법에 가진 가서 줄라고 좀 지마부 쉬사래 시대 왕께 배 고아만 지와랑 시거스 거와 먼저 리네 왕께 지와랑 고아를 지와랑 요마데 다 시대 왕께 배 민주다 mel랑 왕께 리만 고아를 지와랑 요레스
신퇴기 치도니 고아랑 기와랑 요로
고아를 지와랑 요레스 근데 지와랑 가라면 이 고아를 지와랑 가라 고아를 지와랑 눈에다 이 세조와서 요래서 이요 말했어 봐. 심바도 조이 요 말했어 간다. 봐. 이 가르스는 니지기 삼바다 봐. 네, 니지다 시 장주 심바 다동은 나시 장주 심바 다동에서 다 현재 두번 하장배 너니도 심바 니도 전부 이래 봐. 현재 두번 이 나시 봐. 등 고아라 장주 심바 고아라 니나 조이 요 말에 조요 말에 조면 조이 요 말했어. 이 현재 마시 이체를 때 니지다 현재 마시지로 sim liquid the tombanji jana keba chi sonza the kan de juwa yo ma yes dire de wa.
So it says, if due to their merits of generosity and so forth, the bodies of the heroic-minded are happy as a result, and due to their skill in what is to be adopted and what is to be discarded, as well as in the meaning of emptiness, their minds are happy just like Bodhisattva Sada Parutita, then even if they remain in cyclic existence for the sake of others, why would the compassionate ones be disheartened? There is no reason for them to be disheartened. So, and just as mentioned in the sublime continuum, in the subject of sublime continuum, then we talk about bodhisattvas do take rebirth in samsara. So do take rebirth in samsara for the sake of others, out of compassion and out of compassion and out of skill in skilled in the meaning of emptiness. So bodhisattvas, they take rebirth in samsara, and then their rebirth in samsara is free of suffering, and then their mind is free of this disheartenment as well. So why are they free from suffering and their mind is free from this illusionment or disheartenment? Is because they do not have the cause, or they do not have the reason for them to be disheartened. So there is no cause of disheartenment and there is no cause of suffering. So, and then just like the Bodhisattva Saraparutita, so Bodhisattva Saraparutita in English is Bodhisattva always crying. So this is also a sign to indicate that they have developed a very strong, powerful compassion.
다 somebody wants to change it in the long table of table never look at the body. And then we change the same needed the bus CGG. Do not just visit it, may they know the truth of he is a change that modifications.
Next outline is, due to this, they are said to be more skilled than the Hinayana in progressing on the path. Under this outline is verse 29. It says, due to the strength of the mind of enlightenment, he exhausts his previous negativities and gathers oceans of merit, hence he is said to excel the hearers.
조비 chanchuji 공부 주발라 다 초비 주발 예시 보러 chanchu지 맞죠 메테레베 다 간다 민지기 또다 된바 chanchu지 생기 또다 된바 때 개와 간디지 두바이나 때 간다 민지의 chanchu지 생기 심바치 성장 그래서나데 희지 초 간디지 싸와이나 다 민지의 chanchu지 생기 심비 때 랑드발라 니바 치와다 휴치와 메테레 초도 주발 예시 다 데로와 다 니들이 간다 chanchu 주발라 니 좀바 제공이나 다 간다 다 랑지구이 시디기 전에 들리지 마도 내 간다 장주지 생기 들리기 선업사야라 약간 하고 싶어와 장주지 생기가 민지 친구들 생각들이 요도요 말이 근데 다 장주 생각으로 때 근데 저기 장주지 공부 두발라 그래서 먼저 소사오디 장주지 생기다 민지 생기 들리기 전에 싸우디 내 간다 초대 납치와도 니가 치야 이거리스 예선다 내 장주 주발라 니가 치야 선사 내 니들의 초대 주발이 예스 전화들이도 나 니들의 제바다 파사의 장주지 생기다 왜 가다와 민지
가서 파자 데스 엔인지다 장주 있어요. 파자 람나?
치를 파봐야 치를 그냥 파봐
맞아.
니들의 치를 파봐
맞아. Yeah. So he says, due to the strength of the minds of enlightenment, the compassionate ones exhaust their previous negativities and gather oceans of collections of merit and exalted wisdom. Hence, they are said to excel the hearers with regard to traversing the path. So, with regard to traversing the path to the state of complete enlightenment, then bodhisattvas are said to be superior to hearers because they are traversing the path, or the accumulations of collections of merit are conjoined with compassion and bodhicitta. So unlike hearers, for the sake of one's own happiness and peace, then they accumulate, and their accumulations of merit, it is difficult for their accumulations of merit to be conjoined with compassions and bodhicitta. So therefore, bodhisattvas are said to be superior to hearers because they are traversing the path, or their accumulations of merits are conjoined with compassions and bodhicitta.
다시 말해.
시발.
다시 말해. 이나 신비기 제발에 지리고 말이 바로와. 다디 좀 분析장주 신비 다시는 얘네 대원도와가 세히 지문절세. 이실로 지금의 디시언스.
Next outline is, therefore, it is inappropriate to be despondent in Sattva's deeds. Under this outline is verse 30. It says, so, having mounted the horse of the minds of enlightenment that dispels all disheartenment and weariness and proceeds from happiness to happiness, which ones who know of this mind would lapse into despondency?
다 좋은가 싫어. 다 좋은가 싫어. 다상보다 신에서 맞아. 다상보다 다 장주신의 배상 시고로. 다상보다 다야고 상보 신의 다 요사 자체부 요바이나. 그래서 파 대고 하는 거 주고 다야고 요바이나. 그러와.
다상보에는 장주신 봐.
다야고 장주신의 배상으로.
장주신.
장주신.
맞아.
그때 다야고 요바이나. 그래서 요사 탐 대고들라. 스스 relation 이거잖아. 뜻강이 요마로와. 뜻다리 아버지 매바이나 내 탄대고 림보지나 달리 두고만 로두고만 와 강이요라 강이요라 와 된디게 大丈夫相聚线的话，相聚线的，大丈夫就来背向的线的话，这你说了，肯定做的干净的吧？大丈夫就来看了做的，这中啊是干净的吧？是吧？干净的吧？别拿去相聚线的，现在小娃娘，现在都把娘生年把了，就爱要嘛，相聚线的，现在都把了就爱要嘛，是吧？大丈夫的，兄弟，啷个了？看电视多了，干净要嘛，是吧？干净的把拿去，那现在都把了，相聚线的，现在都把了，干净要嘛的，线熊把要嘛的，干净要嘛的。我是读吧，就是啊，谁读的，我是读的，这个谁读的时候啊，现在读吧了。我他这里大多数的地方，别想去写大上部多数的地方这里，别想去写其他上部，想去写其他的，是吧？其他上部的吧，也看到啊，他也看到啊，他也看到啊，别看到啊，啊，就是个，他也看到啊，你看他说是什么多的，搞完这个多，也看到另外一呢，他想去写，对。甚至点小的话，也看到吧，那些，啊，也看，
啲讲究性有
讲究是有个呢，那也看到去吧，甚至点多吧了，啊，你也看到吧，啊，多吧那些，你个什么多了吧，是吧？我等你有个意思，那等你那个说的，他讲的啊，那等你开吧，自己等你，他现在多吧了，记录关注，记录嘛的是，是记录吧的，全部这个嘛的是吧？是全部这个嘛的。看到也看到罗巴那些个搞啊多一点罗巴的时候啊，就是什么罗啊，也看罗巴那些，但我这也看是他我那是要不罗啊，我的我讲句现实话，你那些个什么啊，大长波了背上，这也看到完了，罗那些你在背上的，记录嘛的，是什么有嘛的，现在对吧？是吧？那你这个去了，也是，那是什么
？Dennis, your mind is on. Dennis, yeah. So, okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, having mounted the powerful horse of the minds of enlightenment that dispels all mental disheartenment and physical weariness, they proceed on the path of physical and mental happiness to resultant happiness. So, what skillful ones who know of this mind would lapse into despondency, they do not be despondent to practice the deeds. So, and in previous verse, it says that bodhisattvas are superior to hearers and solitary realizers. So because of this reason, so because of having compassions and bodhicitta, then these bodhicitta is likened to a horse, is likened to a powerful horse, to a very strong horse that is able to cross a vast field easily without any difficulty. So if without this powerful horse of bodhicitta, then one will be very difficult to cross the vast fields. So similarly, if one have bodhicitta, one will find accomplishing the welfare of others not difficult, and then one will not be discouraged, or one will not be disheartened in accomplishing the welfare of others as well. So if one has this bodhicitta, so and also if one has bodhicitta, then it will be like it will be like it will be like going around the deity's celestial mansion. So it means that one will be with this bodhicitta, the one will have this enthusiastic mind, or one will have this enthusiasm in accomplishing the welfare of others, or welfare of sentient beings, just like one going around the deity's celestial mansion. The one has this enthusiastic, or one has this, so one is very pleased in accomplishing the welfare of others without despondency, without discouragement.
你实际当不的多情有时会当多点不对吧？多点不对，但神奇点住，确实不没点高的，多而已，没个对应基本上第一批上的解释，就那个进度啊，那怎么学的
？Next outline is brief indication by way of identifying the four powers. Under this outline is verse 31. It says, the army for the sake of accomplishing the welfare of sentient beings are interest, steadfastness, joy, and relinquishment. Interest is developed through fear of suffering and contemplating its benefits.
他就讲到了这里讲到都是也是说的嘛说，要尊重你把事情不定义起的，尊重就话，尊重就，要尊重就，尊重被你把事情不起来的，讲到这里是吧？尊重事情不起来的，但甚至就
尊重事情不起来的就，
我尊重你把尊重要事情不起来的就来了，就尊重起来的就，是吧？这都是事情是吧？我尊重就问题是中的工作噻，嘛说，尊重就问题是中国的，但尊重的事情不来不了啊。针对就问题学的，看来来了是吧？来了，是吧？他来了的判中是就超过是吧？年过6个，但教过的工作那些，但是工作就学啥了？教过的工作是，但是说问题个家庭中把那些了是吧？但俺是东西的都是被烧了呀。教过工作是，但人家老母把知道，教过工作是老师了才去。我爹中把那些，看到连的了，同类习惯，你把没必多。未必多说的，看到我就我们哪里搞什么，我们学在的话，我就定义就恐怕了，针对的我就来了你不需求的话，来了你不需求的，我就定义就恐怕了，你把这来了的多过来是来了，是吧？就你不定义就恐怕了，看到现在的头发了，定义就如把了你不需要啊，来了是吧？你不需要。来了多个，你不需要，你不需，但你不需干什么？我这边给持续的，你这边西洋的投资呢，但来了的多了过来是吧？你这边西洋的投的来了的多了过来是，但这边西洋的投把了就对了，就看过来是呢，真的涨过来是吧？真的就马上完了，定义是嘛多过去，但真的涨吧，真的叫完了就看过来是呢，但对了就对吧？是那个样，但对吧是吧？对吧是你的计划对吧？人家明白对不？人家明白的也不要吧？那到真的修清不解决的时候的话，真的，那对人家明白的叫了，看过来是呢，我当定义子了，怕引出对吧？一切对吧？修清不是吧？定义子了引出一切对吧？的修清不是了的，那个呢，人家明白的让修清来读是吧？明白的让修清，明白的也不了的，这真的也不理解，真的明白听不了的，那这必须讲的多。但这必须要投的，这刚才来了的，看到多了是吧？来了多了是吧？我等到这里的，未必多，马到马街吧，我就把大人就被定别多，这定不起，定别多少的，抗拒马就马一把是吧？这种原则的西北团的，原则西北团的，看到转不起来，原则西北团的，看到平衡的，那么就是要不西北团的，那当然就按照念了就把，你就把它定了是吧？定了。西北节目了就把那些马一把是吧？西北的节目了，节目就的朗上出去就朗上节目学去了，你没有是吧？西北节目地方是对吧？该有多的吧？不过西北节目这里朗上节目学朗上空中上朗上唱一下，让朗上节目这地的吧？真的没一把了我是吧？那该有多少呢？那刚才准备结果了，准备动把了，还讲高啊，高啊结果就这个是呢，准备准备高啊这边偏要的里面的是的好过是吧？偏要的里面的好过的，你这边的好过的，这高啊结果是吧？该有多少？那真的不要该有多。那真的准备理性
偏要的里面好过的，
我偏要的里面的好过的，那边得了准备讲了是高啊结果是吧？高啊结果是吧？这里偏要的里面的是好嘛个吧？呢，这高啊结是呢，不该来搞不起来是吧？高啊结。我但真的准备，但有些还叫真的准备告诉，但有些可能被大家看团体学情况呢，对吧？真的对的吧？第四把下唱下来是吧？唱下来嘛，多把是了我的，我就记得把把你唱下来。这讲的俺所以第就是这样做问题呢，中把的但多一多是我的话多一多。我但等这些个，但真正的听见，但真正的修情况的，你把情况也记下来看的就做的巧慧是吧？就做的巧慧。但等这些呢，都未必多了成些呢，但未必多的，但另外就可以另外就，基本上没把点评上把几个那些，那你弄的是什么办是吧？
我那个是啦，来路啦，年不需要的话，你得这个新疆脱下来，你得专注过去的，你得接了对年纪对吧？你得接了定义进了一特别对吧？呀，那一切别对吧的话，你得接了。
但一切的对吧？当不光是就流放修的，当不定义了。 거기 인조비 시기 개발하고 이거래서 개발을 맨날 대라 되는 지니까 리도 말해서
님부 시대 가리나 뭐
이거 시대래 시장도 안 되고 시장도
대부 시작대 시바대래
어떤 이치료가 되는 지니까래도 그래 되는 지니까래는 전부 다 그래 지도야 보이는 데비 시작도 그래 이게 또 기내 또 그래서 나 신이 또 어떤 데비 시장 난 데비 시장 토로 걸어 데비 시장 토로 걸어 내 시장 또 될래도 또 살아 또 살아
So I shall develop the masses of army to destroy the discordant class of joyous effort for the sake of accomplishing the welfare of sentient beings as follows. So the masses of army just is similar to the masses of army that I have mentioned just now, the 4 masses of army of a king, then to destroy the discordant class of joyous effort. This so to destroy the discordant class of joyous effort for the sake of accomplishing the welfare of sentient beings. And these 4 then just as a king gains victory over his antagonist by means of the 4 masses of army, the 4 concordant conditions of joyous effort are the 4: the power of interest, the power of steadfastness, the power of joy, and the power of relinquishment. And 其實啦啲每必多堂點必多定做堂其實啦嘅寫下啲地巴堂短巴堂專注堂啲全部新疆啲你講有冇咯？嗱做啦，啲能行是吧？嗱做，yeah. So then the power of interest. So power.
都偏的嘛，对不对？尊重偏的就是哇，尊重偏的就是，尊重偏的就是，
yeah. So these 4 concordant conditions of joyous effort. So in other way of saying this is, in other words is 4 concordant conditions or 4 conducive conditions that increase the joyous effort. So these are the 4 conducive conditions: the power of interest, power of steadfastness, power of joy, and power of relinquishment. And the first one is the power of interest, generating aspiration for adopting and discarding, having contemplated actions and their results. The second one is the power of steadfastness. So the power of steadfastness is having examined it, culminating what has been embarked upon. So having examined it means that with reasons, you have examined it, so you understand the reason for doing so, and then you culminate what has been embarked upon or what has been engaged in. And then the power of joy. So power of joy is not discontinuing it like a child engaging in a play. So a child engaging in a play is they get angry easily, then they cry easily, or they smile, they laugh easily. So it's not like a child engaging in a play. Then you do not discontinue by them, and then you undertake joyous effort without satiation. So it means that you understand the benefits of doing so, and you understand the faults of not doing so. Then with this power of joy, you engage in the virtuous act. You engage in undertaking the joyous effort. So then, with this power of joy, then you undertake the joyous effort. And the last one is the power of relinquishment. So power of relinquishment, it means that you rest when you are tired. So he says, resting if the body and mind become exhausted through undertaking joyous effort, and immediately making joyous effort again upon having rested. So you rest when you are tired, and then when you regain the energy, then you undertake the joyous effort again. So then these are the 4 conducive conditions for increasing the joyous effort, right? Then this is quite similar to the 4 opponents to laziness as well. So since it's related, so joyous effort is the antidote. So when we talk about the discordant class of joyous effort, and the discordant class of joyous effort is laziness. And in order to eliminate this laziness, then we need to apply 4 antidotes to laziness, which we have learned in stages of the path to enlightenment. So the 4 antidotes are, the first one, pliancy, and the second one is joyous effort, and the third one is aspiration, and the last one is belief. Faith of belief in faith of belief in meditative civilization. So in Lamrim, we learned about in order to develop calm abiding. In other way of saying this is in order to develop a meditative civilization, or in order to accomplish pliancy, then we need to apply 4 antidotes to laziness. And the first one is pliancy, or meditative civilization, or calm abiding. And in order to attain this, the first antidote, which is the result, pliancy, then it depends on its cause, which is joyous effort. And in order to generate joyous effort, it depends on its cause, which is aspiration, striving aspiration. And in order to develop striving aspiration, it depends on its cause, which is faith of belief, or captivating faith in meditative civilization. So by relying on by applying these 4 antidotes, then laziness will be eliminated. So it is similar to the explanations here, because we are talking about destroying the discordant class of joyous effort, which is laziness. So then the part that I left out in the commentary, it says, to illustrate and explain the power of interest, the power of interest should be developed through fear of the sufferings of cycle existence and through contemplating the benefits of interest. And next is under the same outline. Next verse is verse 32. It says, thus I shall abandon its discordant classes and make effort in order to increase joyous effort through the powers of interest, pride, joy, and relinquishment, diligence, and mastery. Thus, I shall abandon its discordant classes, the discouragement that does not engage in accomplishing virtuous qualities, although one sees that one is able to, thinking, how can I do it? And then this refers to the laziness of despondency, or the terms that we used before, the laziness of low self-esteem. And I shall develop the concordant conditions, the 4 powers of interest. So the first one is the power of interest, and the second one is power of pride, which is power of steadfastness, and the third one is power of joy, and the last one is power of relinquishment. And for the actual practice, I shall make effort in order to increase joyous effort more and more through the powers of diligent joyous effort, through mindfulness and introspection, referring to the actual session or actual practice that we need to apply diligent joyous effort through mindfulness and introspection, and following that, mastery over the body and mind. Lucien là wang ju et top sa te ang de kasa Xinjiang se yo na. De ke mara. Lucien la wang ju to ju te ju ku ne ko de wa chi de so na. That's right. De Xinjiang yi top mara. That's right. De lo chang gi.
다 네바 도와들어 다 담고 네바 도와 다다 신지 네바 파면 다디 용자데 강도 네바 리레랑 까바자 수세지와 네시 좀바 되는 차야 달라 마도는 등에 빠도 내비는 다고 지시 니만께서 어디래도 없이 저거도
Next outline is discarding faults. Discarding faults. And under this outline are two verses, verse 33 and verse 34. They say, I shall destroy the boundless misdeeds of others and myself. At that time, each of these misdeeds will be exhausted in an ocean of eons. But if within myself I do not perceive even a fraction of the endeavor for exhausting these misdeeds, then I have become an abode for boundless suffering. Why does my heart not burst?
다디게 된다 드린다 다다 신지 네바 들어와 다다 신지 네바서 빠도 네바 다고熊把前面是强去些这个告诉但是我大家学过来了就是说强去些这个告诉他甚至放弃了吧네바大些是吧다고熊把些些这个大家去다 네바 조비 뒤들어 다 네바 조비 뒤 간다 다 네바 레레라 바 하장이 그바 잔수 바다 네보 공발라 세번 좋아이나 다 이번에 때 네바 세바 시비 좀바데 리게 그바 잔서바다 좀바데 단 차시장 이어마 달아 마도나로 근데 장지다 달아 메나 다 네보 대자 공발 하자 쇠마도 바로 쇠마 마세나 때 년주기 동안 요거 네보 리게 쇠마도 때 년주기 동안 요기비 때 등에 빠던 네 네스 지비 때 다데 간다 알아라 간다 지신 마게 바로 지신이 마게 바이겨 다게 니레 상서와데 그러나 메라 판에 가다 하나만 메네 된 dimba 지고 누구사 전주 좀 봐라 고아 데려다 된다데 와 라면이 되게 배 달아 배와 세바데 와 세고도 제마도 바이나 네버시 지리 책이 좀 다 많더나 네버 제자 공부 무슨 상비 되게 원게 때문에 그 동안 이거 그랬어 농비비 다 되게 동안 받아내 봐와 집이 소라다 동안 수 받아내 봐 영화나 봐 상호단이 그러나 봐 메네 메라 간이 되게 이제 dimba데 와 쇠도야 dim바데라 지에 봐 스스로 좀 먹고 쳐 그래서 들이도 다 세슈야 봐야 돼 와 동안 뭔가 들리지 너 근데 스스로 제세 지야라 안다 강에 말했어 와 강에 레모도 등에 뭔가 너무 그바게 다 니바 누구 와다 스스로 봐 연대 들으셔 스스로 제세 중앙 제바이나 스스로 뭐 메라 당하는 거지 와 스스로 뭐 메리 단 dim바야 슈 잡고 지야 전주 슈 잡고 지야 지야 왜 들으셔
So he says, I shall destroy the boundless misdeeds of others and myself because I've made such a commitment when I generated the minds of enlightenment. So he talks about the commitment that you have made when you generated the minds of enlightenment, which is to destroy the boundless misdeeds of myself and others. And at the time of destroying the misdeeds, each of these misdeeds will be exhausted through cultivating its antidote for an ocean of eons. But if within myself I do not perceive even a fraction of the endeavor acting to exhaust these misdeeds, so this part it says I do not perceive even a fraction of the endeavor acting to exhaust these misdeeds. So this part indicates that one is blaming oneself. So blaming oneself or reproaching oneself for not having endeavored to exhaust these misdeeds as the commitment that I have made. So then, if I cannot stand to cultivate merely that antidote, I must experience the sufferings of the bad migrations, and thereby become an abode for boundless sufferings. So, if I cannot stand to bear the sufferings of cultivating that antidote, then I will experience those sufferings of the bad migrations, and then I myself will become an abode for boundless suffering. So why does my heart not burst open? How solid my heart is. So through blaming oneself for not having enough endeavor or for not having endeavor, then the meaning of doing this is to encourage oneself to put in more effort to make exertion and to generate the aspiration to be able to bear the sufferings of those those hardships or difficulties, which is to cultivate those antidotes. Next outline is adopting quality. Under this outline, there are two verses, verse 35 and 36. It says, I shall accomplish many excellent qualities for others and myself, and I will acquaint myself with each of these qualities through an ocean of eons. But I have never developed acquaintance with even a fraction of these excellences. How strange it is to make without purpose this birth I have somehow found. So the meaning of these two verses is, I shall accomplish many excellent qualities for the liberation and omniscience of others and myself, because I've made such a commitment. So similarly, you have made such a commitment to accomplish many excellent qualities for the liberation and omniscience of myself and others. When we generate the minds of enlightenment, when we generate the minds of enlightenment, so let alone all the excellent qualities without exception, if I would have to acquaint myself with each of these qualities, such as the signs and exemplifications. Signs and exemplifications in another translation for this is measure, marks, and signs. Major and minor marks. These signs and exemplifications. Another translation for this is major and minor marks for an oceans of eons. But so if I have to acquaint myself with each of these qualities, such as signs and exemplifications for an oceans of eons, but I have never developed acquaintance with even a fraction of these excellences, and I have squandered without purpose of these or future lives, this birth of leisures and endowments. So I have wasted this precious human rebirth of 8 leisures and 10 endowments in these and future lives. In these or future lives, then which I have found somehow for a long time. How strange! This is the rebuke or despair. So, having realized that one has wasted this precious human rebirth, then one generate regret and then employ this precious human rebirth, in joyous effort. We conclude with dedication. We dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha Dharma, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all their enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche. May Rinpoche's holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously without any obstacle. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to world peace, and may excellent happiness prevail throughout the world.
到时候今天说别给我那天当中我跟老他们当前把这些路上干嘛一对面一模人多是接受强求深究人不接嘛接帮他继续去接把娘妈没保养我呢共同陪我说家没保养其他钱包的很多上跑这样的对他跟别接触的逻辑给我的大堂接了都我帮你到人不接把他继续去接把娘妈没保养我呢共同陪我说你到人不接嘛接帮他继续去接把娘妈没保养我呢共同陪我说懂你理解速度就别让姐姐身上看见点对跟前那边我真正该做了说的说现在这个说今天看的天天看的把看的就会上面一些用关键说没真正该做了说的说对些这个说咱们电话接生意了我上叫我也是个把接让家应该有嘛对不对对对把对面给的就有对对人不接接到对面自己给我了那样没事是美国家庭出门去走了嘛说的边边嘛就美国这边家也等到嘛就做也让他基本正到这边如果喜欢是的一点帮问到去是给自己拿当就是那就推荐了或者路面这边样就是给上的这边都有些说搞这个有不会情况的片段的话嘛就认为的这些是我真正感觉小辈时间包都点就